If you're looking at the Samsung Galaxy K zoom from the front, it looks like every Samsung phone in the world. But if you turn it around, you see that we have a built-in compact camera, kind of. Especially if I'm pulling this mechanical button over here, you see that we have an optical zoom, 10-fold optical zoom, optical stabilizer, we have a xenon flash here, and 20.7 megapixels photos, videos in full HD. So this is kind of a compact camera and a phone all together. I'm coming to the specification a little bit later, but first I wanted to show you some impressions of the user interface of the camera app over here. First of all are those modes. Automatical mode, of course. You have a pro suggest, meaning that if you, I'm having a piece over here so that I can show you. If you're putting the button down there, then you become suggestions what kind of color or effects you might need over here for this motif. This is black and white now, so it's not doing very much so, but you can imagine what I wanted to show you with this small example over here. I find way better, for example, these shots over here like selfies, because normally you have selfies shot with your front camera, way lower resolution, no front LED in most cases, worse sensor behind it. So they're saying, oh, why this? We have a flashlight on the back, we have 20.7 megapixels, why not using it for selfies in a kind of new way? Meaning if you're starting this mode, you will get this window over here. Typically it's in the middle. If you're turning the camera around towards you, then you have to pull it around until your face is in this circle or in this room over here, and then happens the following thing. I'm prepared here over with a photo. And as you heard, first it's a plang, so meaning, all right, your face is in this box, and then 3 seconds countdown, and then you will have 3 shots in a row, in a quick row, and this icon over here is suggesting this should be the best, and you can take it, leave it, or whatever you're doing it. So I guess this is a great idea. And other things I wanted to show you in this manage modes over here, and for this I'm coming a little bit closer so that you can see. Here are all the modes you can choose, and if you say, oh, I do not know beauty face shot by, I need manual, or we have way more down here. For example, this surround shot, I'm loving this and missing this on the S5, you can choose over here. So you're having in this row down here just the modes you really need. Manual, of course, you can have all the settings by yourself manually, just tapping over here. I was too quick. You know what this means, or surround mode, you know everything. And one last thing I really find great, and that has nothing to do with the mode, it's running in auto mode too, and meaning you all know this touch focus. If you're touching here, then the focus is going there, and now you can split over here so that you have 2 windows. First, this is the focus, and this one is exposure. So everybody who has always done some photos knows what this is for, especially on the white background you can't see it, but you know exactly what this feature is for, so that you can now split exposure point and focus point. Great. And one last thing I wanted to show, that they really thought about what they're doing at Samsung, because you will have that zoom mode regularly with your volume button over here. So you can go like this manually, or let me turn this back, go just like that, so it's going automatically. But the problem is you have a setting down here, going to digital zoom. Right, I pulled this off because digital zoom always means that you have a loss of sharpness. So I do not want digital zoom. But the problem is, if you're using the feature I just showed you, if you do not pulling off the digital focus, it's going like this. meaning it doesn't stop with a 10-fold optical zoom, it's going up to 20-fold with a digital zoom, and I do not like this. So I just feared that this feature is missing, but then I detected it finally down here in the settings. As I've shown you, that's something very specific, I guess, and I really appreciate that we can pull the digital zoom off here again. Really great. But as I promised, coming back to the specifications, especially to the display, of course, because first of all, it's, let me go a little bit like that, just so that you can see. First of all, it's AMOLED, of course, no surprise on Samsung. Size is 4.79 inches, and you have 720 by 1280 pixel, coming to 306 ppi. Compared to the S4 zoom, it's a little bit better. That was 4.3 inches and 258 ppi, so a little bit better. But coming to the display, as I told you, it's AMOLED, and unfortunately it's a pentile matrix, as you can see over here. Just a quick view. So having the typical pentile matrix, and the problem with that I will show you over here if I'm finding one of these. Or let me go a little bit with a factor like that, so that you can see that A letter over here. So look at the diagonal forms. So they are a little bit frizzy, not that sharp that like they could be, like that stripe in the middle one of the A over here. So it's always a little bit, you know what I mean, unsharp on the edges. But as you can see, no problem at all, even if you have tiny text over here. And I don't guess that this will be a device for gamers or something. So no problem at all. But comparing to the S4, I have to say it's way better, because it's not that thick. It's thick. It's 20.2 millimeters over here, and down there it's some 16.3 millimeters, and on the edges I measured 9.6 millimeters, on total measurements of 71 millimeters by 137 millimeters and 200 grams. So it's more than a typical smartphone, of course, but compared to the S4 zoom, that was 27 millimeters over here, and way more bulky and uncomfortable in your hand, so you can hold it really without any problem in your palm and using it as a phone. So I really like this very much more than the S4 zoom at that time. And again, and that's something I really appreciate what Samsung is doing over here, you can remove the backside. All right, it's plastic and it's a typical S5 look and feel, of course, but you can remove the battery. 2,430 milliampere hours. That's not less or something compared to the display size, for example. But remind, we have that mechanical optical zoom, we have a xenon flash, so this is consuming way more power than a typical smartphone. So I guess you will use this, and if you are suggesting to use your phone a lot for making photos and videos and so on, it might be possible that you need a second battery, so it's good to have that removable battery over here. Below that we have a micro SIM, and I can close it because the SD card, let me look, okay, it's closed again. The SD card is over here, the slot for it, up to 64 gigabyte. Micro SDXC, SDXC, I'm sorry for that, you know what I mean. So it might be possible that it's working with 128 gigabyte, but there's no guaranteed up to 64 gigabyte. Internal memory, and here we come, 8 gigabyte only, meaning if you have updated all your pre-installed apps, you have just a net memory of 4.25 gigabyte. That's not so much, because first of all, you can't remove all the apps to the SD card, as you know. So some typical apps for the system you can't remove, that's first. And If you really want to use your phone a lot for photography and video shooting, I guess you will need more than one SD card. And if you're starting to pull off apps to one SD card and you're changing this, you don't have your apps anymore that you switch to the SD card. So think a lot about what you need on space, on memory space for your apps and for your notes and dates and whatever you want to do with this. If 4.25 gigabyte will be enough. If yes, it's no problem at all. And you don't have LTE, no 4G, but you have dual cell HSPA, meaning in 3G networks, downloads up to 42 megabit per second, Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 4.0, NFC, everything, and of course the typical Samsung user interface. I do not have to say any word concerning that. And with that we're coming to the CPU, to the processor. This is the Exynos 5260, meaning you have 6 cores, but you have to look behind the scenes because only 2 of these cores are Cortex A15, 1.7 gigahertz, and the other 4 cores are Cortex A7, meaning so some low power cores, kind of 1.3 gigahertz. So this we have to wait for the benchmarks, how this will do, and I will do of course a media check showing you in a comparison to the S5 the photo quality and the video quality coming back later to this. But first of all, at this moment I would say, hey, let's wait how the CPU, the processor, will be in the benchmarks. I can't say too much for that. Last of all, it's nothing with IP, Samsung, whatever. Don't ask me for that you can use it underwater, or that it's resistant against dust or rain or whatever. So you can think about that because of this kind of building and the mechanical things over here. So do not think that this is typical for Samsung on all models at the moment. So that's all I can show you at the moment from the Galaxy K Zoom, coming more as soon as possible, of course. And it's coming to market round about end of July, beginning of August, something round about that. Here in Europe, Germany, we have a recommended retail price of 519 euros, meaning on the street prices on the web, I guess it will start some 500 bucks or something like that. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video. Then please think of to recommend my channel and to subscribe to it. Thanks for that in advance, and take care.